My deep appreciation of theater history was instilled in me by Tom Empey, a college mentor to me and hundreds, if not thousands of others. While teaching Greek theater terms, he would grab the fabric of his slacks and say,
"You see these pants? Euripides, Eumenides,"
making light of content that could be considered rather dry and stuffy while still maintaining respect for the art, which is what I want to do with this podcast. For each episode, I invite a guest from the many paths my theater career has taken me down. I give my guests no idea what we'll be talking about, but they know we're going to find an outrageous story about theater history and perhaps get a better understanding about why we're still doing it after all these years. So, welcome to Euripides Eumenides, and I am your host, Aaron Odom.
Apocalypse, I said, why you want to show up now? Just when the heart of my life was getting good. I'll give you one more chance. Walk on out of the door, yeah. Get your ass to getting where the getting is good.
Good morrow, Eumenidites, or good e'en, whichever it may be for you. This is Aaron Odom from Trident Theater, bringing you another episode of Euripides Eumenides, a theater history podcast. My listeners, every once in a while, as I look for new topics to share with you, I come across a figure in the vast history of theater whose song is, in my opinion, woefully unsung, or just not known as well as I think they should be. Their contributions to the art seem to be the perfect storm, just the right conditions at all the right times. And then somehow they're either forgotten or almost footnotes in theater history. The story about this episode's contributor to theater history is no different. I can't wait for you to meet him. Joining me on this episode is returning guest Suzanne Cotsakos. Returning listeners may remember Suzanne from episode 84, in which we dissected the Harold Pinter play The Homecoming. Suzanne is an actor based out of LA and has a lot of different branches to her career. And as we get into the episode, Suzanne discusses some of the recent struggles that go along with being a working actor in LA. And as fate would have it, because of these struggles, Suzanne actually has a lot in common with the person we'll discuss on this episode. So, without further ado, here's episode 4 of season 2, Danny LaRue. Whoa, you've had a hell of a time this last year.
Yeah.
It's almost like the only thing that didn't happen in LA is like a chisel came out from heaven and just flicked it off into the ocean.
There's still time.
But I mean, you had strikes and this huge fire, and now it just seems like everybody's trying to figure out how to get the wheels greased again, right?
Oh yeah. I would say for everyone that I know, maybe not even just LA, but just the past 5 years have been relentless in its punching.
Oh my gosh.
Personally, health things, in the industry, but industry wise, yeah, I constantly talk about this with my friends, is how difficult it is right now. How difficult it is if you are not a full-blown celebrity, and
right.
And maybe it's even, I'm not at that level, so like it could even be just as difficult then, for them. But I'm looking at it as far as like, we have huge stars, for the past few years, just like on commercials, in TV shows. So it just pushes down all the, there was a show that had Taye Diggs as a guest star, which is insane. It's Taye Diggs. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what is happening? Which, by the way, fully enjoy. But as a actor who is in the more co-star range,
right? Yeah,
kind of pushes it down. So then the guest stars are going to co-stars, and it is just it has been hard to be a creative lately.
Yeah, that's so interesting. See, I'm in my little rural town in Wyoming, and I am the president of a community theater board right now. And post COVID, we're finding out all kinds of weird things. Now, I have a very, very adventurous and active arts community here. They love coming to do stuff. They love coming to see the performing arts, but I'm having to like shift what days of the week I'm offering things now, because we're just finding out like, nobody likes to do anything on a Thursday,
Yeah.
and it's like everybody goes out on a Friday. We don't know about Saturday.
Yeah.
And you're going, why is this so strange?
It's so weird coming out of, I'm even weird. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm weird, I guess. My friends and my husband would say I'm perpetually weird for my whole life.
We're all a little mad.
But in this regard, that I used to love going to concerts. I love going out to see the theater. I love going to the movie theater. And I'm a little more hermity. I don't know if that's an age thing, which it very well could be, or if it's just a mixture, together. So,
we're in our 40s now. It sounds a little bit more comfortable to just be like, do I have to take my slippers off? No, I'll be fine at home.
No, it'll be fine. I'll go out, next year.
But as far as those challenges, it sounds like you're kind of making your own way in developing your own content. What's going on there?
So, well, okay. Voice acting in general, I think the auditions at least they've slowed down, but not as much. But you just have a huge slew of people auditioning for one thing. So it is,
right.
I've booked some stuff here and there, but it's not fully paying the bills type thing.
Right.
I think I'm 15 years in LA now, and there's definitely been ebbs and flows, but this is the worst time it's been. Even one of my coaches was like, wow, it's been so slow even to coach alumni.
Oh,
students.
wow.
It's been the slow, and these are like top, coaches in LA. I was in a sketch and improv team, multiple, for like 12 years until the pandemic, right? So I'm used to creating content, performing on stage. And as much as I, in a way, hate doing it because it's so much work to get a camera together, get a schedule, write a script, film, edit, you're like a one-woman show, and you're lucky if you can get someone to kind of shoot. Now, I know how to do all that. Yeah. But sometimes you're like, I would just like to be an actor. I'd like to show up, do my job. And that, honestly, that's just not the reality right now. It just isn't. So you have to create your own content, not for the sake of creating content. You have to create it for your soul.
Right.
Because as creatives, we don't always have control over getting to be creative. Now, I also do photography, so that's an outlet for me, which I can pick up a camera and do any time of day, and it's wonderful and makes me feel like I'm being an artist of sorts. But I can't just be like, hey, I like this show, put me on it. As much as relatives are like, hey, how come you're not on that show? You could be good in that commercial. And I'm like, oh, if only I thought of that. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. Oh, what a good idea. I wish I thought of that.
When I was a working actor up in Seattle, my mother would write back to me and go, "I think you should get on that Grey's Anatomy show." Like, Mom, they don't shoot it here, but they shoot a lot of things there. I'm like, no, that's stock footage. The building you see is actually a radio station. It's not a hospital.
My mom loves Hallmark movies, and she actually understands now because I've been doing it long enough. But she used to kind of be like, you would be so good in this, and I'm like, I would love to book a Hallmark movie.
I would love it.
I'm not turning them down, I promise. Anyway, one of my best friends who is a sketch, and she's an actor, but we've performed sketch and improv together all these years. We were just like, all right, we got to sit down once a month and spitball ideas and write sketches, and find a way to shoot them. And so recently we've been starting to get back into it. And we actually were very fortunate to shoot with a production company that is wonderful. And we're just in the final editing I'm editing it.
Yeah, right.
But of course, yeah. Happy to do it though, but yeah, you got to find a way to weather the storm, one, financially, which is very difficult for people. I'm very fortunate that I have freelance work and I have a husband who has a steady job.
Yeah,
so
right.
It is not lost on me how damn lucky that I am to be able to weather the storm in that regard. And that's sometimes the biggest reason. But yeah, you got to create for yourself. You have to for your soul.
And hence what this show is about for me too. Like, that's one of the big reasons for this show too. But anyway, that's an interesting place to start. By the way, I love to see that content when it's finally out there. I always thought you were brilliant in improv stuff. But that's going to go very interestingly into what we are going to be discussing today for the episode. And I sent you the question earlier this week to mull over, because this one I was like, oh, this one might take a little bit of thought. So this was the question that I started with. Suzanne, who is a performer who has a performing arts specialty that you don't think gets enough credit, and why did you choose this person?
And I am going to say this question haunted me for the week because I feel like the last time what was the question that we had, I was like, oh, like it came to me. Yeah. I felt so terrible because I was like, I can't think of anyone or anything. And I know people are out there, right? Like I know there's incredible talents. Here's what I will tell you. There was a part of the good student, people-pleasing perfectionist in me that wanted to research and kind of like be like, oh, this person that I just randomly thought of like that. Oh my goodness. And I was like, I can't do that. It's cheating.
I asked AI to come up with it for me.
Yeah. Here, let me read you my thing that my friend who is way more versed in this told me. No, I have no idea is my first first response. In the vein that performers in the sense of like fire eaters or like jugglers or like who that's the thing they do, not just it's a thing they can do, it's a thing they do. I watch magic a lot. I don't know anyone's names, and I can't tell you that they're not getting enough credit because I don't know. But I will say on a personal note, and maybe this is not the right area, but this is what first came to mind. And I just think in the industry in general, this is a thing. I have a friend that I have known since I was 17, and I became a fan first. She is a singer and a lyricist, and I fell in love with her music. And then we kind of became friends, and I would go to shows. I still think I'm kind of a fan first. And I would say it blows my mind that someone with that kind of voice and that kind of ability, her name's Robin Coomer, and she's been in like a million burlesque shows, singing shows, jazz bands. She's San Francisco based. And I guess what I would say that is just like her, there's so many people in the industry of creativity that are so talented that we do not know about. Right. Yes. Yeah. So like that would be my answer, is that I don't have specifically someone out there that's not like someone I personally know. But that I'm blown away constantly when I find new people that they are there, and how are they not known more? Right. You and I talk about this a lot when we're talking about the entertainment industry and how, there are so many people who are just so damn good, and the opportunity just never comes up. Or if it does, it's for something that might not be the thing they are the best at. But people saw it and they went, this is brilliant, and I want more of that.
I don't think that's exactly what happened with this character we're going to be talking about today, but
I figured, which wonderful. How great to know that
Yeah.
somebody had a talent and it was celebrated.
Yeah, we're going to get into this more as we go through this episode, but I'm going to go ahead and start it off here. I want to ask, last night CNN ran Good Night and Good Luck, the George Clooney play. And today, as we're recording this, it's the last day that thing's going to be on Broadway, which is also ironically the day of the Tony Awards. So George Clooney, if he wins a Tony, he's not going to be there tonight unless he, stops in the middle of the show and runs across the street or whatever. Actually, that's a couple blocks down. Anyway, but I watched that, and I wouldn't necessarily call it a gimmick. Especially in this case, because Clooney there was a very specific reason why he did this show, but there is a tactic that theater producers will use to boost ticket sales for production. Get the big name star in a famous role, right?
Sure.
I mean, of course, this is done sometimes to bring new life to a role due to some stroke of genius that someone had. And I'm thinking this celebrity was born to play this part. Right now, I can think of Nicole Scherzinger's run in Sunset Boulevard on Broadway as Norma Desmond. People saw it and they went, I never would have expected that. And it was exactly what was needed. But sometimes it's this tactic is used to reintroduce fan favorite stars to a play. Speaking of this last Broadway season, I mean, if I really wanted to drop an arm and a leg, I would have loved to have seen Denzel Washington and Jake Gyllenhaal in Othello. But, if you wanted a ticket, that's like, I mean, Broadway tickets are expensive and there's a reason for that. But at the same time, oh my God.
They are so expensive now. So
oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I don't even want to say, I took Andrea, the woman who walked beside me, and my two boys there 2 summers ago, and we only saw 2 shows, but we stayed downtown in Times Square, and that and the plane ride. Oh my God, Suzanne, I don't know who's able to do that all the time, but
oh no.
But anyway, this tactic of casting big name celebrities doesn't always work. Mm-mm. I can think of Julia Roberts getting a moment on Broadway in the 2006 non-musical play 3 Days of Rain, which sold more tickets because Julia Roberts was like the biggest movie star in the world at that time, rather than just the play is done really well. And the reviewers didn't really like the production and often said that Roberts really didn't have a lot of charisma on stage. We've heard that before when somebody is primarily a film actor, they have a really hard time adjusting to stage acting. If they come from stage first, go to screen, and then come back to stage, like a Hugh Jackman, they do okay. But she was...
when you learn when you haven't had a theater background, you can always tame, as I call it, taming my face.
Right.
It's taken me 15 years, but I'm finally we need to tame my face a little. Whereas on stage, my face is fine. But you can always, it's always easier to be like, ooh, just a little less. You don't need to do as much than being hey, back row of the whole theater has no idea what's going on, Right. A harder adjustment.
You need to wink with your entire head.
Yes. And still be completely present and mean it and have it living in you. So that's the challenge.
So this kind of not up to snuff performance caused her 2 co-stars in this 3-person play to kind of make up for what was missing on stage. And these 2 actors alongside Julia Roberts in 2006 were Paul Rudd and Bradley Cooper.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And you're like, I'd rather see those 2 guys right now than Julia Roberts. I'm sorry, Julia, if you're listening, but those guys are awesome. So you have those kinds of things where we're getting big names to put on a poster that also have something really special to bring to a role, but often to varying levels of success and failure. And while I've teed that up to tell you exactly what production and who played the role and where, I'm going to do one of my big record scratch moments and pull back on the reins really hard and go in another direction and lead right back up to it.
I'm waiting here like, what is happening? And I'm along for the ride.
I can almost guarantee you have never heard of this person, and to me right now that's a damn shame, because right now my listeners will see the name in the title and they're going, well, why haven't you heard of this person?
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Because as we said in my comment, I'm a terrible person in my question. I don't know anything. No. But I'm excited to know now.
Okay. Daniel Patrick Carroll was born in Cork, Ireland on July 26, 1927, quote, the youngest of a Roman Catholic cabinet maker who had 5 children. And we'll call him Danny, as he came to be known. Danny never got to know his father, who died when Danny was 18 months old. The father had emigrated to America with plans to bring his family over after getting established, but died of tuberculosis before this could happen. Oh. And I'm pretty sure his mother never remarried. I didn't really see any references to that in my research, but I more often I saw the references to the mother being left alone to raise the children. When Danny was 5, he first fell in love with the theater when he saw comedian Jimmy O'Day in a British pantomime play, Mother Goose, playing the Panto Dame. And are you familiar with Panto?
Yes, my best friend did Panto for many years.
Oh God, yeah. Well, for my listening audience, I did appear on another podcast where the topic, my format was kind of turned on me, and the host told me all about British pantos. Yes. For those of you that don't know, a British panto is traditionally anymore now done at Christmas time. They've got you have about 7 to 12 different plays that are kind of in the standard canon, one of them being Mother Goose. And it's all very interactive and family friendly and just kind of tongue-in-cheek humor. And it's like a staple of British culture at this point.
Yeah.
To a point where in 2008, when Ian McKellen finished playing King Lear, the role he went to right after that was the Widow Twankey in Aladdin.
I love it. That's great.
Now, I say that Ian McKellen played a widow because British Panto is based on several kind of stock characters. There, 2 of which dress. They're cross-dressing roles. So you have the young boy, who's often played by a lithe woman, and the Panto Dame, which is usually an older man playing a female, not badly, but like she's just not a very like she's in it. I don't know. She's a curmudgeon. Let's just say it that way, like this curmudgeonly old lady. And it's very funny.
I mean, that is literally my soul is a curmudgeon.
Right now, you're peeking out your blinds and wondering what those kids are doing. Yeah. Now, when Danny was 6, his mother moved the family to the Soho area of London, and Danny continued loving the theater, particularly seeing the string of comics who would play the Panto Dames at Christmas time. One particular comic he loved seeing was Arthur Lucan. Do you know that name?
No.
That's okay. That's okay.
At least I know Panto. I know
There
Panto.
you go. I got that one right. No, he saw Arthur Lucan, who might be more well known as his onstage persona, Old Mother Riley. Lucan would travel with his daughter, and they would perform a 2-person sketch comedy act about a down-on-her-luck and destitute widow played by Lucan, and his real-life daughter played his precocious on-stage daughter, and the two would get into all kinds of hijinks, you know? I guess there was one I read about where I think they were in a kitchen, they were trying to find something, and Lucan literally broke every piece of china, except for a water pitcher at the end, which he eventually did finally break, and it was a big joke. And, he lifted the handle, which was the only thing he was holding on to, having no idea that he'd broken the jug. I mean, but that was a sketch. Yeah. So it's just funny stuff. And they would constantly have new sketches, but often relied mainly on what the audiences asked for again and again. But it was this image and comedy of Lucan in his costume that stuck in young Danny's mind. Old Mother Riley's comedy was somewhat enhanced by her raggedy clothes, her ruddy makeup, her frizzy wig under a disheveled hat, and often several teeth were blacked out with makeup. Haha, you're destitute. It's hilarious, right? Let's laugh at the pores. Anyway.
That's a very theater makeup thing.
Right?
And
Yeah.
let's just paint a tooth blacked out. Let's completely stereotype.
Yeah, absolutely.
Suffering.
And probably, I have no idea what Arthur Lucan sounded like, but it's probably just this high, shrill, nasty voice, you know?
Yeah.
Like, where are you going tonight?
Of course.
I have no idea.
No, that's probably accurate.
In 1937, Danny's family had to evacuate London and relocated to the Devon countryside near Exeter, as their London home would eventually be destroyed in the London Blitz. So I can't even tell you, like, the number of times I read about people who were important to theater in Britain were very much affected by this London Blitz. But of course, it was a bombing raid that went on for like 8 months. So yeah. Now, from a young age, Danny had always championed and defended his mother. He recalls a particular event after moving to Devon in which he found her crying as she did not have enough money to buy his school uniform when they first arrived. So Danny often worked to help up his household. And for several years while the war was on, he worked for a bakery. And besides the £1.50 he'd get each week for pay, he could also take home any extra rolls that were available at the end of the day, just to bring home so mom could have some extra money.
What a good kid.
What a sweetheart. Now, I feel I should mention this, as it came up in several sources that I read. Danny was often remembered for sketching women's dresses in school. The sources did not say, however, if the activity was frowned upon. My research basically just said he drew dresses.
Sounds like a fashion designer.
Okay, all right. In his teens, Danny got several jobs to help the family out, eventually settling at a general clothing store called J.V. Hutton's, in which he was hired to be a window dresser. So all the mannequins and like the setup and everything, that was his job. At the same time, he got himself involved with a local amateur drama group and would often act in their shows. But at age 17, as the war was still going on, Danny got called up to serve in the armed forces and served in the Navy. He was assigned to the ship the Alaunia, that was Alaunia, I think that's Alaunia, which was sent to the Far East, and Danny served as a steward in the captain's mess. So didn't really see a lot of action, but you know, it's a job.
Being out at sea is a job. Like that's
Oh yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't just smooth sailing waters the whole time. Like
no, but you know, he wasn't loading cannons and stuff like that, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. But I mean that not everyone has to be a cannon loader.
No. The poop deck still has to be swept. Now I'm going to take a break from the story of Danny to discuss a particular way that British soldiers were entertained in the service. A lot of performing arts in the 1940s tried to steer people away from the gloom and doom of the war and tried to focus on themes of like resilience and hope and victory. And a lot of the times it was just, let's just have some good, silly fun. Yeah. Now, while in service, many British soldiers found themselves in acting troupes, performing short plays or appearing in revue-style shows just to keep the spirits of the soldiers up. And since there were generally not a lot of women in the service, it would fall to the men, more often the younger men, to appear as women in the sketches and plays performed for the soldiers. And this was just accepted. It's just like, we need entertainment, and Johnny plays a good woman, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So in the UK, this wasn't as forbidden as one might think. While it was still technically illegal in the UK to be a homosexual man during World War II, cross-dressing for the purpose of entertainment wasn't necessarily seen as homosexual in nature. It was just, we're trying to keep the morale up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But of course, I mean, this has been the case in theater for centuries, particularly in the UK. Ancient Roman comedies even would have men dress as women, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And it's all just for a purpose of a good laugh, you know. And obviously during the British Renaissance, women were not allowed on the stage. So young men, again, would often play the women in performance. And I just loved that idea of try to do that today. Try to have a handsome young man be Juliet and kiss Romeo on the balcony and have the same effect of people going, "Oh, isn't that sweet?"
Yeah. Yeah. People would sadly lose their minds.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Now, even through the days of vaudeville, men would make their careers by playing glamorous and or funny women. So this is precisely where Danny found himself serving on the ship. He played women in plays performed for the soldiers in the Far East. And what's more, he was good at it.
Oh.
Uh-huh. While serving in Singapore, and obviously long before he was knighted, Sir John Gielgud saw Danny perform and persuaded Danny to consider continuing this funny act as a career once his service was up.
I mean, talk about yeah, that's an amazing person to tell you.
Suzanne, another arm of your career is your children's books. I mean, to me, that's like having Beverly Cleary read one of your books and go, it's not my speed, but I think you should continue with this.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good like little pat on the back and maybe I should listen to this.
Now, as we know today, Sir John Gielgud was somewhat notoriously gay and had some strong opinions on what it meant to be a homosexual man in the world at that time. But when he saw Danny, he apparently said this to Danny in encouragement. Quote, "I don't like men who dress up as women, but you make me laugh."
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That sounds like a very backhand, like weird compliment. It sounds like a compliment my grandmother would have given. Like some kind of, you're like, I think this is a compliment, but also can we unpack that bit? No? Okay.
People usually don't get that haircut, but it works well for your face.
Exactly.
Now, Danny's service was from 1944 to 1947, and his demand for his female impersonation stayed just as strong after the war as it was during the war. So he kept playing this part after the war through his entire service in 1947. And when his service was up, he went back home to Devon, and he picked up his job at J.B. Hutton's again as a window dresser. And he eventually was producing and staging small-scale fashion shows.
Of course, because he sketched. I mean, this is all the like dresses... a beautifully laid out beginning of someone who clearly, I know where we're going, but is very talented and creative.
I think you are going to feel so gloriously fulfilled when I tell you just exactly how. Yeah. In the evenings, though, he returned to acting with the Exeter Drama Group. His day job eventually got him transferred to the Hutton store in London, and he took up acting with a troupe connected with the YWCA, the Young Women's Christian Association, mainly because the troupe didn't have a lot of male performers due to being associated with an organization designed specifically for women.
Of course.
I mean, I found that out when I was acting in Seattle. Like, it was it was somewhat fortunate for me, but really kind of an unfortunate circumstance is I'd audition and I get cast a lot because I'm a white man, and that's what is required. There's a lot of people getting kind of a little upset, and they don't really like to talk about her all that much. But with the new Harry Potter HBO series that's coming out, they have Hermione cast as a girl of color.
Oh my God. Can I tangent for a second? I don't understand. First off, if you saw what I don't know if that was her audition. There's something on like Hermione is described. Okay. First off, let's talk about this is not a real person.
No,
this is not a real, it's a character. No. Hermione should be book smart, have like bushy hair, a little big teeth. Like there's an essence of a character. And I don't understand why people get so crazy about, to me, I'm like, does the person bring the essence of the character?
Yeah.
Great. Wonderful. Also, we don't need another Emma Watson. We already saw her.
Yeah.
Let's see someone else's version.
Yeah.
Okay. That's my tangent.
Ethan, who's recently been on the show, he's becoming a really big comic book fan because now he's starting to understand the depth of the stories instead of like my superhero saved the day, and that's great. He loves the Miles Morales Superman. A Black and Latino kid figuring out.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Did I say Superman?
Spider-Man. Yeah.
Oh, geez.
I was just like, I had a moment where I was like,
you are wrong, sir.
No. I was like, did I get this wrong? I'm pretty sure Miles Morales is Spider-Man. I've loved the Spider-Man series, like I've hit with him.
Yeah. Oh, but God, can you imagine if it was teased for a little while? Let's have a Michael B. Jordan Superman movie.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I think that would be amazing. But there are people who would lose their damn minds.
People need to chill out. Like, I have seen every version of the, Superman that we've had, the same look, the same this and that. And I'm like, I'm okay. I'm good with it. Like, can we do something? If we're going to keep remaking shit, can we at least show someone different and interesting, like I really need to cast another person who's exactly the same. I don't know. That's just my take. Anyway, I'm in for it. Superman, Michael B. Jordan. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, that would be cool. But no, unfortunately, we're not going to get that. No. So, as you can see, we've got a bit of the origin story already happening, and a lot more is to come. You can probably see where we're headed with the life of Danny, but I promise you'll find some lovely surprises as we continue. But while we're stopped, I'll remind you to keep up with the show on social media. You can follow the show on Instagram at Euripides_Eumenides, or even follow the Trident Theater Instagram feed. But you can also just reach out to us with the Contact Us form at tridenttheater.com. I've heard from a lot of you that way. I've also seen a lot of your YouTube comments, which have been overwhelmingly positive, and I really appreciate that. However, let's get back to Suzanne Cotsakos and the rest of this episode, Danny LaRue. Okay, so back to Danny and working for the YWCA and store at Hutton's. While acting in London, an old Navy acquaintance told him about auditions for a show very much like the ones Danny performed in while in service. An all-male chorus for a show called Forces Showboat. This show toured all over the UK from 1949 to 1950, which made Danny a little nervous about how being a female impersonator, like he was in that show, would be seen outside of the more forgiving and accepting audiences of London. But they seemed to be a hit, because after Forces Showboat, Danny appeared in several more all-male shows which toured the country. Here's some titles. Forces in Petticoats, Soldiers in Skirts, and Misleading Ladies.
Oh, love it. Love it.
I mean, you know what you're getting into.
Sounds delightful.
Yeah, you don't just go, take a chance at the theater tonight and take your friend and you're sitting there and you're enjoying your treats and you look up and you go, I think those women are men. Nope, that's what you got. He performed in his first panto as a chorus member in a line of dancing girls, all of whom were men in drag, in Aladdin at the Chatham Empire Theater in 1953. So he finally got into a panto.
Amazing.
But soon, Danny got kind of tired of the format of the all-male review shows because they didn't seem to be getting him work in anything but all-male review shows. So Danny went back to his job at Hutton's in London thinking, okay, this will be the career for me. I don't need this acting thing. But he couldn't really stay away from it. Yeah. You see, Danny seemed to be something of a standout in his performance. Even in a full chorus line of performers, he really had a magnetism to him when in his costume. He would really, honestly, transform into this absolutely glamorous and alluring woman. So let me see. I'm going to pause this for just a second and see if I can find a picture for you. Okay. So here. There we go. There's Danny.
Oh, my goodness. That is amazing. Danny is hot, glamour, gorge.
Right.
Gorgeous.
And I think this picture is earlier in his career when the costumes weren't getting as glamorous.
Oh my gosh, this is pretty beautiful. You know what? This is very beautiful and eloquent
Mhm.
and elegant.
Right, right. And it's not offensive. I look at that and I'm just like, this is what I would want to see somebody wearing on stage if I were going out for a night out.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I would love to be able to pull that off. I couldn't, but I am the posing, the hair, the crown, the dress. Oh my gosh. Ugh,
The
amazing.
shoes. Yeah.
I bet Danny could walk really well in those shoes too. unlike
Oh,
myself.
we're going to get into that in just a second. So you're saying here, Danny's kind of a standout, right? And I think,
clearly.
yeah. Danny stood out so much that he caught the attention of Paul Raymond, a real estate genius and owner of topless clubs and an adult publishing empire.
Oh my gosh.
Raymond has been on this show before in the episode The Strange Ghost at the Peacock Theater, and listeners go back and listen to that one. There's lots more interesting stories about unusual stage acts and nudity. But I really wanted to bring Raymond back. I just couldn't find enough about his direct connection to theater to make it a full episode. So I have to thank Danny for giving me the opportunity to get Paul Raymond back on the show. But in any case, Paul Raymond actually hired Danny to assist with his traveling show of female performers.
Amazing.
Danny's job was to instruct the women on how to walk correctly, particularly in heels.
I am not surprised. No joke. About 1 week ago, my friend Dion and I were talking about how amazing drag queens are. And like I was saying that one of my best friends was on the West End forever. Now he's an agent, but did Priscilla on the West End. And I'm like, why can't I walk like this? Like I walk like a weird fawn who's just been born in heels. And I was like, so I have no doubt that Danny was teaching the ladies how to walk.
Oh, even better. Check this out. This also led to Danny consulting with performers from the Abbey Theatre in Dublin to learn timing on stage. When Joe Orton's play What the Butler Saw premiered in 1969, 2 years after Orton's death. And if you want to hear about that, you can go back and listen to episode 67 and 68, The Life and Death of Joe Orton. That was a fascinating story. Anyway, it's 1969 when What the Butler Saw premiered. Sir Ralph Richardson, one of the big three in British acting for the 20th century, sent his co-star Coral Brown to Danny so he could teach Coral how to stand like an upper-class woman.
I mean, I'm sorry, but looking at this picture, I'm like, yeah, totally understand that, because this stance is royal, it's elegant, it's just refined, everything about it. And I, if I was doing that, would look super awkward. So
Now, as I said before, his work with Huttons had developed into producing and managing lunchtime fashion shows for the store. Ted Gaddy, who was the promoter for these shows, knew about Danny's consulting work and persuaded him to come up with his own act in which Danny would be the headliner, something of a glamorous and affable lounge singer who would also be an accomplished comedian who could perform in sketches as that character. Danny agreed to do it, but under a stage name, so that his superiors at Hutton's wouldn't find out. Gaddy came up with the name that Danny would be known for the rest of his life and career, Danny LaRue.
oh, what a, of course, Danny LaRue.
Danny LaRue. Here's a quote from Gaddy on how he came up with the name. He's talking directly to Danny in this quote. "You look wonderful in costume and you remind me of Paris, like the Follies. You're also long and lean, like a lovely French street. So I thought I would call you Danny the Street, Danny LaRue."
Oh, beautiful.
Isn't that lovely?
It's such a easy, wonderful stage name that is just fits this picture that I'm seeing. I mean, I have to keep going back to this picture because I've obviously don't know who Danny is until this moment, but
and it's so lyrical and lilty and almost gives you an idea of what you're going to see on stage.
Yeah.
Danny LaRue.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. So Gaddy also needed a performer for his West End drag show called Men Only, and this is where Danny LaRue got to be seen for the first time as a singular performer rather than just part of a chorus. Now, that show was seen by producer Cecil Landau, who then booked Danny LaRue to perform at Churchill's nightclub. And this is so funny. I just love that a post-World War II nightlife nightclub is named after Winston Churchill. I just thought that was Now, from what I can gather, I'd love to hear from the people who have been there. Churchill's at the time, and from what I can tell still is, it's like the place to experience nightlife in London, okay? It's often seen as more of an adult entertainment venue, not like a strip club necessarily, but it's that the entertainment that's seen there is more adult in nature and not usually meant to be family friendly. I mean, it's definitely a fun time out, but maybe rated R.
In the sense because there's nudity and drinking, or just
no,
they're swearing. Like what?
Yeah, they're swearing. They're talking about who are you going home with tonight, and
okay,
right, that kind of stuff.
Got it.
Danny's solo act stayed at Churchill's for 3 years, starting in 1954, and that's the same year he finally left that job at Hutton's because he was getting so much work as Danny LaRue. Which I'm like, good for you.
Good for you, Danny LaRue.
Here's a description of how he prepared for the future of his act. Quote, he invested his money in bespoke, glamorous stage costumes and wigs, as well as employing his own writers. Among the stage characters he created were a geisha girl, a teenage rocker, and a striptease artist. And not just to stay as the glam bot we're seeing here, but do some various things to find the different arms of that character, I guess. Anyway.
Danny was forming his own little LLC and had his own business. He was like, I gotta have writers. Like, he was making jobs. He was giving other performers work. Like,
right, and and people were eating it up. You know, it wasn't just a thing where people are like, you got to see this. It's so strange. No, they loved it. They loved it.
If anyone has actually seen really amazing drag shows, like I've been going since I was a kid. Both my parents loved drag shows, and I literally just went a couple years ago. It was my parents' friend's birthday, and we went to one. The amount of talent it takes, one, forget all the like obvious stuff of being able to do costume, walk, makeup, but commanding a crowd, it's such clown work. Like, yeah, it is so difficult. And I don't think people understand how difficult it is to constantly deal with crowds and like get them pumped up, get them on your side, make fun of them, but in a wonderful way. Like, it's a real talent.
Right. Now, in 1956, Danny teamed up with his fellow female impersonator Alan Haynes to create a fabulous double act called Ugly Sisters.
I love
it. But I'll just take a moment here to point out that while Alan Haynes is an outstanding female impersonator, he was in life married to a woman. While Danny didn't always talk about his sexuality, but he was a gay man and lived with his partner Jack Hansen, who was also Danny's manager from 1947 until Jack's death following a violent stroke in 1984.
Oh, sorry. There was so much information. I was like, oh no, violent stroke. Oh no, he didn't get to like live the life that, he should.
Like 37 years of it, or 20. Yeah, something like that. I'm like, great. Good for you, Danny.
It's just it's just such a shame that like, it was not accepting of, just the whole separate tangent, but it sounds like at least the wife was understanding. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you look at it that way and you go, oh, it's just a comedian doing an act.
Yeah.
It really is. And he was good at it.
Yeah.
So, he's, it's kind of like at the end of Clue when, Mr. Green finally says, I'm going to go home and sleep with my wife after playing a gay man for the entire movie. Anyway, Danny ended up leaving Churchill's in 1958 thus ending the double act with Alan Haynes, and transferred his solo act to Winston's nightclub. And I'm like, you went from Churchill's to Winston's. That's funny to me. I love that.
Yeah.
Now, while at Winston's, he made his first TV appearance on, I think I'm pronouncing this right, Jack Hyleton's Monday Show, on which he actually fooled another celebrity guest into believing that he was a woman.
Yeah.
I think she was told later and was just stunned.
Yeah. I mean, he obviously is a great actor.
Oh,
and
man.
like an amazing character actor.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And can walk better than any female out there.
Oh, I'm gonna send you a video here in a little bit, and you'll see what the act really was. I mean, part of it. Danny's success in nightclubs was so great that he eventually opened his own place in 1964 called Danny LaRue's. Danny expanded the act to be a full-fledged cabaret show, and his costumes became more and more elaborate and glamorous as time went on. And as his dress became more diverse, his fame spread even more. In the 60s, he appeared on the West End several times, sometimes in musical comedies. He appeared in some pantomimes. He performed in many royal variety shows and made many, many appearances on film and television, all the while as this fabulous female lounge singer, Danny LaRue.
Oh, my gosh.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm going to pause recording here. We're going to watch a little bit of his act, and I want you to give an honest reaction to that after we're done with that. So yeah, let me pause the recording here, and we'll do that. Okay, so we just saw that is the Royal Variety performance from 1969. It looked like it was televised. So, Suzanne, what'd you think of Danny LaRue?
I mean, I literally just said, oh, I'm going to watch all of this afterwards, but I'm not going to sit here and make you watch me watch it. He's exactly what I was saying before, like the amazing crowd clown work, the takes to the audience, the understanding what's gonna connect, and also how each different female character was different.
We got to see three of them there.
Yeah. Well, I skipped through to one other, which was the long blonde hair.
Okay. Yeah.
With the but I was saying, the long blonde hair character was so different to the first three. She was very good at clowning to the audience.
Oh, yeah.
And the quick costume changes, which is just theater in general, is just so amazing.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing.
Amazing, right? What an amazing character actor.
Right.
And performer, a stage performer. That is, I really think people don't understand how hard it is to...
Oh, no.
Drag queens are pros at clowning.
Yeah,
maybe they haven't gone to clown school, but they in my perspective, when I studied I didn't go to a clown school. I don't call myself a clown. I've just done some clowning techniques with Donovan Scott, who was a clown, and it's so specific to understand what your humor is and what you bring.
Right. Yes.
Not someone else's.
Nope.
Yours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that is just so. Danny LaRue is killing it in those videos that I saw. Danny LaRue knows his strength.
And not only that, he has a catchphrase. Did you see that?
Oh, what was the catchphrase?
He would do this all the time. Like, he'd be singing like we heard, and we're like, it's kind of a deeper voice. That's funny. But it was like a tongue-in-cheek reminder that he's still a guy under all of that. And the catchphrase was, "Watch 'em, mates."
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
He'd be singing, and then he'd turn to the crowd and go, "Watch 'em, mates," in this deep man's voice. You go, "Oh, yep, okay, got it."
Yeah, you're an amazing performer.
But here's the funny thing that I saw in all of that: there wasn't anything dirty. There wasn't anything naughty. In some acts, it was about a girl talking about how hard it is to be on stage and keep up appearances and keep up energy. I mean, he bounced through that entire thing for like 2.5 minutes, all while able to still sing.
Yeah, the stamina of stage. I say stage performers, like musical type people, whether it's in musicals or variety acts or vaudeville, burlesque. The ability to move so much and be able to sing is incredible.
Right. And then the other sketch he was doing, they brought out a phone for him to use, and he was going to call up a man and basically tell the man off or something like that. And then the man ended up not being there. Okay, that's not, we're not making any blue jokes. We're not talking about anything naughty. It's a funny circumstance where people go, ooh, I can't wait to see what happens with that. I mean, it's, Well,
that's also, I mean, I do feel like, just like with movies, a comedy in general, like that was a time period, where what we might look at it and be like, that's not risque at all, but someone else might be like, oh my God, they picked up the phone and giggled or something.
It was a woman calling a man.
Yeah. But in general, no, drag performances are super fun.
Yeah. So here's a quote directly from Danny's autobiography that he wrote in 1987 titled From Drags to Riches. Quote, "It was all irresistible fun in the true tradition of British music hall bawdy vulgarity, littered with innuendo, double meanings, and everything thrown in for good measure. But it was never smutty or dirty or snide. No one ever found it obscene." End quote.
Yeah. It is all innuendo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is what makes it so clever and fun.
When he would return to Ireland to perform his act, he would state, "Look at what the English did to me. I left Ireland in short trousers and I've come back in a frock."
What a great sense of humor.
But here's a funny cutting from an article I found about his audience. This is a little longer, but it's fantastic. LaRue was never a gay icon, nor a butt of a feminist movement, which sometimes surprised him. His core audience was, in fact, blue-rinsed ladies of a certain age who sent gushing letters congratulating him on his awards. They wrote him how much they admired his legs or his self-manufactured rubber bosom, presumably because they identified with him and were comfortable with his act, though it sometimes included raucous jokes which, coming from anyone else, might have caused deep offense. He got away with it, he claimed, because everyone knew that everything he did and said was just a pretense. He regarded himself as an actor. Yeah, nobody, they're just like, oh, you're playing a part.
Yeah, an actor on stage, we're all in this. Like, I'm not coming here doing a serious speech about, I don't know, whatever. I'm here to entertain you. And are you entertained? Yes, wonderful.
And even that, if you laugh at it, it's because it's relevant. There's something about your current circumstances in the world, I mean, you can make tongue-in-cheek jokes about the most sensitive of topics. And if they're just off the cuff like that, it's fine. And you laugh at it because it's current and present and real. But yeah, you don't have to just drop into naughtiness to get a laugh.
No, I mean, I laugh a lot too, because sometimes, like we would be going on stage and our like director of our group, would be like, okay, like let's go on stage. Like, let's not have a blue show. Let's just be really, and the second you say that, it's completely blue.
That's all you can think of. That's all you can think of.
All you can think about is like, oh my God, don't make this like sexual. Well, don't swear. And then that's all you do, which makes me laugh.
Yeah. You just get on stage and you get your suggestions from the audience, and then you start the scene and you go, I'm going to take my pants off. Nothing to do with
Space work pants. We're on stage, people.
Now, the 1970s were not as kind to Danny. His club closed in 1972. But with his considerable success came some money, and he became interested in buying properties and restoring them, like the Swan Inn at Streatley in Berkshire. This inspired him to go even further, and he purchased stately home Walton Hall near Stratford-upon-Avon, which was in considerable disrepair. The purchase of the property took £500,000, which would be just under £5.5 million today, which is just a little more than $7.3 million today. Okay. He intended to restore it and turn it into a grand hotel and cultural arts center. I think it was going to have a restaurant and bar in it too, but yeah. He contracted the work and property administration to a pair of Canadian brothers who got to work right away. But months into the project, it was discovered that the Canadian brothers were frauds and had conned Danny out of all of his money poured into the project, and they disappeared.
Oh my gosh.
Danny was left with significant debts and had to sell the Swan Inn in Berkshire as well as his home in Henley.
Oh, that gave me goosebumps, but not.
I know.
in a good way.
I know. You're just like,
Right,
no.
it's just somebody who has worked. Screw those people. Somebody who's worked so hard, and how could you do that to someone?
Yeah.
Were they ever? Do you know? I mean, sorry, that's probably a tangent. I'm like, were they ever caught?
I have no idea. None of my research indicated that. They just said they took the money and ran. Now, while this was pretty devastating to him, Danny still kept up appearances here and there, even though he was aging out of most of his older acts. Perhaps this is why he agreed to do something that actually gave him quite a distinction and brings this whole story back around to theater directly. Even though Danny did some legitimate stage acting throughout his career, he never really wanted to work outside of his scope, and he stuck with his lounge club act. And oftentimes for TV and variety shows, he would impersonate lots of popular female celebrities of the time as his female persona. Some examples would be Marlene Dietrich, Zsa Zsa Gabor, Betty Davis and Joan Collins, and even Cher.
Of course.
That's so great. This did catch the attention of actors who wanted to perform on stage with Danny or just see Danny in his female persona acting in plays. Apparently, Laurence Olivier tried desperately to get Danny to play Lady M in the Scottish play.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Perhaps the timing wasn't right.
I mean, that's a pretty big deal when Laurence Olivier wants to.
I mean, and just think about it. The dedication to his own personal success and knowing what he could and couldn't do. I think of that Laurence Olivier is coming in going, why don't you play this Shakespearean role? You've never done Shakespeare before, but I think you could do it. And he went, I don't know.
Yeah. Not for me.
Right. It's like Pee Wee Herman playing Hamlet. Or one of the great clowns,
I'm like, you know what? Sometimes you're like, I know my what my strengths and what my weaknesses are, and this is it. This is it. So I'm gonna say no to it. Sometimes you're like, or would it have been amazing?
Would it have been amazing? We'll never know.
We'll never know.
But in 1982, Danny finally said yes to a role in a major play. Starting off in Birmingham and then eventually transferring to the West End, Danny played Dolly Levi in a revival of the musical Hello, Dolly, making Danny LaRue the first man to play Dolly in a West End production.
Oh my gosh, amazing. I bet Danny LaRue was amazing.
Well, I think it might have even been more significant than that, such as a first man to play a female lead in a West End production, but I can't really confirm it. You'd think Danny would have been amazing.
Oh no. Well, did Danny have the pipes? That's
exactly. And I think of that show. I think of Barbra Streisand, and you're like, okay, so you have to have somebody who can sing, nobody's going to be able to sing better than Barbra Streisand. Critics were not pleased. They pretty much panned the production. Just seeing it as, okay, we're putting this classy old dame in, we've done this 1,000 times before. This time it just happens to be a man. Ooh, wow. Does that make it any good? Probably not. But that's a critic's job is to look for the problems in a show.
Sure.
But tickets sold okay, mainly based on Danny's fame and the significance of a man playing a female lead. The show did not complete its run and closed several weeks before it was scheduled to do so. Danny LaRue then took his act out of London and toured around the world, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. But a lot of his later years were devoted to charity. Here's a quote. In 2000, his companion Wayne King, an Australian pianist, died at age 46 of AIDS. 2 years later, in recognition of the thousands of pounds he raised for AIDS charities, Danny LaRue was appointed OBE, which is, like I think it's like a step or two under knighthood, but it's royal distinction. The Queen was said to be a great admirer of his act.
Talent is talent.
Yep. Danny said that being honored by the Queen was, quote, the proudest day of his life.
Now that gave me chills in a heartwarming way.
There we go. Danny suffered a minor stroke in 2006, and while he was still performing, his health became his priority. He actually was afflicted with several conditions, including throat cancer. Oh. He died on May 31st, 2009, in the home of Annie Galbraith. Annie was Danny's dresser and a very good friend, and he was living with her in her care until he died at the age of 81.
I was just going to ask, how old was he?
Danny LaRue has several distinctions outside of playing Dolly. Quote, Show Business Personality of the Year in 1969, Theater Personality of the Year in 1970, 25 Years in Show Business Award in 1976, and Entertainer of the Decade in 1979. And here's kind of I guess it was said that even up to his dying day, he was always just kind of itching to dust off the gowns and get out there and be like, well, I could do this. Maybe I could do that. But here's a quote that I got that I think sums it up really well. After World War II, drag evolved into a staple of British nightlife. The 1950s and 1960s saw drag flourish. Danny LaRue became a household name. LaRue's success on stage and television brought drag into mainstream entertainment, challenging societal norms, and opening doors for future generations.
You can't see my chills.
That's the story of Danny LaRue.
Wow. What a story.
Yeah.
What a life. Ups and downs.
I'm sure there was some controversy somewhere.
Sure.
I didn't read about it. I read a lot of things about Danny LaRue, but I never heard anybody protesting outside of his shows or demanding to have him removed or anything like that.
Well, I mean, he was a step away from being knighted, so yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they just went, this is a fun character and he's part of our culture. I like that.
What a novelty to just be like, how fun.
How fun. What's next?
Yeah.
and not harbor any ill will about it. It was just a fun time.
Yeah.
I think about that in relation to people having such a hard time with drag performers reading to kids at libraries in America. And the only thing I think is, oh, you've never seen it. So, yeah.
No, you know what? Just like with most things, when you've been told all your life or by whatever to fear something and you've never actually partaken in it or seen it or met a person, you just, play the part of fear. And it's a damn shame, because I'll tell you right now, if I had kids, I would be first in line to be having books read to them, because like I said, my parents took me to drag shows when I was younger and it was a blast.
Yeah.
I have such fond memories of costumes, laughter, glitz, glamour, and they will always have a special place. Not to go on a totally new topic, but like only recently in the past 5 or so years have I been made aware of drag kings.
Oh yeah.
Which I was not. One of my friends was a drag king in the Boston scene, and there's a drag king show called Them Fatales in Los Angeles that I've been to, and it is, again, amazing. What an amazing performance, and just to see people have fun on stage and have fun together. And
that kind of thing actually was big in vaudeville. You'd have women who are great jazz singers just put on the tux, the spats, the top hat, the cane, and have people go, oh, let's see how good you are at this. Yeah. And the pleasant surprise at the end of it is they're always good.
Yeah. Oh, big surprise. Like,
Yeah.
oh, big surprise. A performer and or actor is good at, I mean, in improv, we don't have you don't have the time or the luxury to like have costumes and all, wigs, but like we're playing characters of all shapes, sizes, genders, it's like, because in the moment, it's like, that's what actors do. Anyway.
Well, and that's the interesting thing about Danny is, as I was reading through it, I don't think he ever referred to himself as a drag performer.
Sure.
He more often said he was a female impersonator, and it's an act. It's a gig. Who cares what he's doing in his personal life? He's just really, really good at this. And it's the funny thing about that I think about, Suzanne, is his popularity implies that there is a need for that kind of a performer in the world at that time. There was a need for it. There was a demand, not just he has this thing and we didn't know we needed it. Maybe that was the case. And the longevity of the act. We could only see Sam Kinison screaming into a microphone for so long before we're like, okay, I get it. But with Danny, not only did it speak to something, but it evolved to continue to meet the needs of what people needed for their entertainment dollar.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still looking at this picture of Danny and one of his first outfits. And I'm like, why do we have to take things that are creative endeavors and just fun and make it a thing?
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing that I think about that, if we're going to be so hateful toward it, how about this? Just don't consume it.
Yeah.
Just leave it alone.
No one's forcing you to get, I know. Yeah. But you know what? It is a lot easier to make people focused on on what really isn't an issue. Let's do it. Mm-hmm. Well, let's turn their heads this way and get them scared and put over here instead of looking at what the real issues are.
Yeah,
and that's a time-old tale.
But then there are still those people who are told to look away, and they look back, and they're like, "Wow, that lady really knows how to walk in those pumps." Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I will never let that down. I am truly in the best way envious of the ability to embrace femininity from every person.
And that glamour. Oh, man.
The glamour. There is, you know what? There's a real awesomeness with being able to just take a moment and be like fully, like without embarrassment, fully glammed, big, like just unapologetic, as an awkward kind of a little self-conscious female. Like I truly envy that.
Well, my older son just went to his first prom, and he rented this fabulous tux. It was like forest green. And there were still things that he and I were talking about it the other day, because he felt handsome, he felt kind of powerful, and he and his girlfriend have been seeing each other for about a year now, and they really enjoy each other. And so he almost was like, I really want to match what she's going to be, because he saw her dress, he knew what her dress looked like, and she's a little sporty thing, does a lot of dance. So, she's in pretty good shape and everything. So he's like, I got to match that. And even talking about it the other day, I'm like, by the way, you were wearing a 3-piece suit and you buttoned the jacket. That's
a no.
I'm like, but you're so young. You'll learn these things in time.
Or maybe he's just like, you guys are so old. That's not how we do it anymore.
Yeah, that's not how we do it anymore. Yeah.
I think dressing up is good for people, whether it's just like dressing up in a nice outfit, or my version of drag would be going to Ren Fair, which is my thing. So I think it's good for people to get lost in a part.
Yeah. Yeah. And they sure did with Danny. Oh, my word. I guess it's somewhat easy to get lost in the noise when certain people want to scream and yell about something that ultimately isn't really hurting anyone. Like Suzanne said, it's just entertainment, and damn good entertainment at that. But it always baffles me when people would rather fear something than give it a chance. You never know what joy you might be missing out on in life if you refuse to say yes. I want to thank Suzanne Cotsakos for all her contributions to this episode, and you should be able to click on her name in the show notes and see all she's been up to, but for now, I'll sign off. This has been another episode of Euripides Eumenides, a theater history podcast. I have been your host, Aaron Odom. Another episode will be in your ears in a fortnight, and I will see you at intermission.
That